Hello students, I am here with another video from the chapter of class 7th NCERT book, that is chapter number 13, Motion and Time. Okay, so we are discussing about this chapter, and before starting today's video I would like to tell you all that till now what all things we have discussed in this chapter. So we have seen the word, what is the definition of the word motion. Motion means it is a condition where an object is moving from one place to another place, and it is changing its place, direction, and it is moving from one point to the another point, and because of which what happens, the place is being changed. Sometimes the person was here, and after that that same person has gone to some other position. So the change in position with respect to time is known as the object. It tells us that object is in motion. And then the next thing which we discussed were the types of motion. It is of many types, like uniform motion, non-uniform motion, periodic motion, non-periodic motion, oscillatory motion, and about the rectilinear motion. Okay, so the types of rectilinear motion is only the straight line motion, or it is also known as the uniform motion. And then slow and fast motions are also there. Okay, so many types are present according to the speed, according to the time, according to the number of occurrence. So these are the criteria for telling the different types of motions which are present. Okay, next thing which we discussed was the type of motion, that was the uniform motion. Okay, uniform and non-uniform motion which we have discussed. So these two motions are already being told in details what is about it. So the uniform motion means it is a motion where the object is traveling equal distance in equal interval of time throughout the motion. Okay, similarly when we are talking about the non-uniform motion, it means that we are talking about the concept of motion, that an object is traveling unequal distance in equal interval of time, or unequal distance in unequal interval of time. Okay, so this was about the non-uniform motion. Similarly, circular motions are there, rotatory motions are there, slow and fast movements are there, slow and fast motions are there. So how will you decide that an object is moving in a fast motion or in a slow motion? By seeing its speed. So we have also discussed about the speed. So what is the formula for speed? Speed means it is the distance traveled upon the time taken. So what is the distance traveled? So distance traveled means what is the change in the position of any object. Okay, next thing which we discussed was it was being always compared with respect to time. So with respect to time, whatever distance an object is traveling, it gives us the speed of that particular object. Now, if we are comparing two objects, if the speed of one object is less and the other object is more, it means the object which is having the lesser speed is moving in a slow motion, and the object which is traveling in the fast motion, it means that the speed is more than that of the slow motion object. Okay, so that was about the how to compare about the different types of motion based upon the based upon the speed. Okay, so this was about how the movement is taking place in any object based upon the speed. Okay, next we also calculated about the average speed. Now what is this average speed? Average speed means it is the same as that of the speed where we could compare the different speeds together with the total number of time which is being taken to cover up that particular distance. So the formula remains same, but the difference is that in that formula we are going to take the total distance. So total distance upon total time taken becomes the average speed. Okay, so this average speed is always made in consideration when we are comparing the speed of different object at the same time. Okay, so we'll take total distance upon total time for calculating the average speed. Similarly, we have also discussed about the type of graphs. Two graphs we have discussed, that is the uniform motion graph and the non-uniform motion graph. And the graph is the distance time graph. I'll discuss this again in the next topic when we will come on to this particular thing. Then I'll tell you how many more types of distance time graph could be plotted. Okay, so I had just given you the initial idea about the plotting of these two graphs. So we have also seen that whenever the object is moving in a straight line, it means it is following the uniform motion, and if an object is moving in a curved line, it means it is always having the non-uniform motion, means it is traveling in a non-uniform motion. Okay, so please remember that when an object is having a straight line graph, okay, it is having a straight line graph, it means it is showing the uniform motion, and if an object is having a non-straight line graph, it is having the curved line, it means it is showing you the non-uniform motion. Okay, so this was about what we have seen in the uniform and non-uniform motion. Next, in the last class, I discussed about the oscillatory motion. Okay, I discussed about the oscillatory motion. Now, what is the meaning of the word oscillatory motion? So, we have seen that this oscillatory motion means it is a way by which an object is moving to and fro only. So, we have taken the example of pendulum, where a bob is hanging with the support, with the string, with a thread, and it is attached to a support here. So how it is being done? So this is a bob, which is a metallic object, which is a metallic ball, and this is going to be attached to a thread. Okay, and this is the support. Fine. Now what happens? This is going to move only in left and right direction. Okay, only in left and right direction. So the position which was the starting point of the movement was the mean position, and the next two positions were the extreme positions. Okay, so these were the extreme positions. Okay, similarly here this was the extreme position. Okay, so if we consider this position as A, this becomes B, this becomes C. Okay, now if we talk about the movement of any object, how will you define the oscillation, one oscillation? How will you define that? I have told you yesterday that when an object is moving from its mean position to one of its extreme position, then coming back to its mean position, going towards other extreme position, and coming back to its mean position. So this was one oscillation. Next, we have discussed about the time period. Now, time period means it is the total time taken by the bob to complete one oscillation. Okay, how many seconds, whatever it is, if it is taking whatever seconds, say for example 5 seconds, if it is taking 5 seconds, it means its time period is 5. Okay, 5 seconds. How this 5 second has come? It means it takes 5 seconds to complete one oscillation. Moving from A to B, again to A, again from A to C, and then again to A. So this is about one oscillation. Okay, so this is known as the oscillatory motion, and this is also termed as one oscillation, and this is combined with the time period. Now some more facts are there, some more words are there which is related to this oscillatory motion. Now let us find out more words which is related to this oscillatory motion. So another word is the amplitude. Okay, what is the next word? It is amplitude. What is the next word? It is amplitude. Okay, so we'll find out the amplitude. So the next word is this amplitude. Now we will find out how to define this amplitude. Okay, so again we'll draw this pendulum. We'll draw this pendulum again. Okay, now I told you that the position from the starting point is the mean position, and it is going towards one of its extreme position. Okay, suppose that this is A, this is going to be B. So what is amplitude now? Amplitude is the maximum displacement of the bob from its mean position towards one of its extreme position is known as amplitude. So what is an amplitude? Amplitude means it is, what is amplitude? Amplitude means it is the maximum displacement of the bob from its mean position to one of its extreme position. Okay, so this is known as the amplitude. Fine, so amplitude means it is the movement, it is the maximum displacement of the bob from its mean position towards one of its extreme position, either to left or to right. It could be on towards left or right, any position it could be. So whatever maximum position is there, it means that it is the amplitude. Okay, now if I show you the yesterday's object and tell you how to define amplitude in this condition, then what would be the answer for this? So this object is there with me, and yesterday I have also shown you this one. So what happens here? So we could see that this object is showing, this object could move like this. Okay, so if I make it short, so what is the maximum displacement of the bob? Suppose this is the bob, so maximum displacement either to the right side or to the left side, to one of its only extreme position. So this is known as the amplitude. From the mean position towards one of its extreme position is known as the amplitude. So this is one of its, the bob is there, it moves towards one of its extreme position is known as the amplitude. Okay, so amplitude means it is the maximum displacement. Displacement means the distance traveled, the minimum distance which could be traveled. So whatever is the length of this thread, that becomes that is only responsible for the amplitude. If length is less, for this object, means the length of the thread is less, it means that the bob could move only till here, and if the length of the thread is more, it could move far away. So amplitude depends upon the length of this thread. Okay, so this is about what is the amplitude. So amplitude means it is the maximum displacement of the bob from its mean position towards one of its extreme position. Now if you could take right side extreme position, that is okay, and if you take the left side position, extreme position, that is also okay. Okay. Next thing which we need to discuss here is, after amplitude we'll discuss about the frequency. Okay, one more new word is the frequency. Okay, now what is the frequency? So amplitude is going to decide what kind of sound it will be, I mean what kind of the frequencies it could make. So let us see, the next word is the frequency. What is this frequency? Frequency means it is the number of oscillation taking place in 1 second. What is frequency? Number of complete oscillation taken by, or it is done by, or completed by the oscillating body. Okay, or the bob. Here in this case it is pendulum. What is the oscillating body? It is pendulum. Now what is the frequency? Frequency is the number of complete oscillations done by the oscillating object in 1 second. That time is fixed in 1 second. Now in 1 second, how many times it is going to take complete number of vibrations, complete number of oscillation? That is known as the frequency. So how will you define frequency? Frequency, it has the fixed time. How much time is there? 1 second. Now in 1 second, how many times it is taking complete oscillation? What is the complete oscillation? It is the same, that starting from the mean position, ending towards its extreme position, again coming back to its mean position, moving towards another extreme position, coming back to its mean position. So this is one oscillation. Now in 1 second, how many times it could do this much? This could travel this much amount of distance in 1 second. That becomes its frequency. Frequency of the bob means in 1 second how many times it could complete one complete oscillation. Number of complete oscillation, not only one. For example, if we take this object again, so in 1 second how many times this object could show its complete rotation. So this is known as complete oscillation. So this is known as the frequency. In 1 second, suppose that this object is moving 5 times, so the frequency becomes 5. Okay, so what is the complete oscillation? It is starting from mean position, moving towards extreme, coming back, moving towards extreme position on the other side, coming back to its mean position. So this was about the one oscillation. Now how many times this could complete this would complete the number of oscillation in 1 second. So this becomes its frequency of the pendulum or the frequency of any vibrating object. Okay, so this is about how many times the number of oscillation is going to be completed. So this becomes the frequency of the vibrating object, that is bob here, that is the pendulum here. So simple pendulum could be, it has different types of words which is related to the oscillatory motion. So the first word which we discussed was the amplitude. First word was the oscillation. Then second word is the number of vibrations completed in 1 second, that is this frequency, and the amplitude. Next we discussed about the time period. So this was about the oscillatory motion, where time period means it is a complete time taken to complete one oscillation, whereas frequency means number of complete oscillation completed in 1 second. Okay, so this oscillation could also be known by another word, that is known as the vibration. Now I must tell you that there are certain different okay, so many words are there which is related to the frequency, to the amplitude. Okay, so but in this case only you need to measure the time. Now you're going to see what is the time period, what is the frequency of the bob, what is the frequency of this oscillating object. Now I must tell you that how will you calculate the number of frequency, how will you calculate the time period, and how are you going to calculate the frequency. So if the question comes, a bob, a pendulum could complete 5 oscillations in 1 second. In 1 second, what is the frequency of the pendulum? So what would be the answer for this question? It can complete 5 oscillations, 5 complete vibrations in 1 second. So the definition of frequency says the number of complete oscillation taking place in 1 second. How many complete oscillation? 5 oscillation. So what would be the answer for this question? The answer would be 5. The answer would be 5 in number. Now what about the unit of this frequency? The unit of the frequency is hertz. Okay, So this is called hertz, H-E-R-T-Z. In the short form, it is written as H and small z, capital H and small z. Okay, as you could see here, it is written capital H, small z. Okay, this one. Fine. So this is about how much is the frequency for any moving object, for any oscillating object. If whatever number is given in 1 second, that becomes the frequency. Okay, that becomes the frequency of the particular object. As in this case, it becomes 5 hertz. Fine. So this is about the frequency of the vibrating object when it completes one oscillation. How many oscillations in 1 second? 5 oscillations in 1 second. Suppose that it becomes 15 oscillation in 1 second, then the answer would become 15 hertz. Okay, so it becomes 15 hertz. If 25 is here, then it becomes 25. Okay, so 25 would be the answer. Why? Because it could take 25 vibrations, complete vibrations in 1 second. Okay, so this was all about the frequency, time period, and the amplitude of the oscillating object. Now, what is the unit of time period? What is the unit of time period? It is the seconds. So please remember, what is the unit for frequency? It is hertz, H-E-R-T-Z. Okay, and what is the unit for the time period? So what about units of time period? It is seconds. Okay, and what about the unit of frequency? This is equal to hertz. Okay, this is measured in hertz. Fine. Next is that if it takes 20 oscillations, it means it gets the 20 in number. 20 oscillations means 20 hertz. Okay. Now next thing is that you have to take out the what is the, if you have time period, or what is the unit for amplitude? The unit for amplitude will be in meters. Unit of amplitude, because it is the length, it is in meters. Okay, whatever distance it is traveled from one mean point to one of its extreme point is known as the amplitude. So the unit for amplitude is m, meters, or when the unit of frequency is hertz, then unit of time period is the seconds. Okay, so this was about the unit of measuring time using this pendulum. Now there are various other clocks which are used for the measurement of the time. So we'll go through these clocks one by one, which is given in your chapter. Okay, so the first types of clock we are going to discuss is, this is types of clock which is given in your book. So first we will discuss about the sand clock. Okay, then second is the candle clock. Next is pendulum clock. Okay, this we have discussed. Then third, then fourth is water clock. Okay, water clock is there. Then sometimes we use sundials and moondials. Okay, next we have, okay, we could also see the digital clocks. Okay, so many clocks we need to discuss. So this is the sixth type. So this is known as, these are the different types of clocks which we need to discuss. So first we'll discuss about the sand clock. Okay, so many clocks are there. Okay, one by one I'll tell you. So sand clock means it is a clock which is used, I mean, This sand clock is using sand for calculating the time. Okay, so what kind of sand? I'll just let you know. Next is the candle clock. Candle clock also is using candle burning for calculating the time. Similarly, pendulum clock, which we have just now discussed, that it is going to, it is a simple clock. Analog clock is there. Okay, one more type is this analog clock. Okay, analog clock, which you see nowadays, is an analog clock which is present in the wall of your room, which has number on it, which is circular or rectangular or square in the shape. It is analog clock, okay, which has needle in it. So next is the digital clock, which shows you the number. And scientific clocks are also there, which is using electrons and atoms for finding out the accurate distance, accurate time. So that is used by the scientists, and it is known as the scientific clock. Okay, it is also known as the scientific clock. Digital clock is something which is going to show you the numbers. Okay, so analog clock, digital clock. Then sand clock, we have seen that sand clock is using the sand in it, and we can find out the number of hours by turning it upside down. And I think you all have seen also this sand clock sometimes. It is very common. Next is the candle clock. Candle clock uses the burning of candle in 1 hour. It has markings on it, and then the part which is being burnt is going to tell you the time. Okay, next is the water clock. Similarly, water is present in the container, and some holes are being made in it, and the dripping part is going to tell you the number of buckets which are filled in 1 hours. Okay, number of hours. So this is going to tell you the time. Similarly, sundials and moon dials are there. Yes, so this sundial and moon dial is one of the most important way. It is one of the more common way by which you could tell the time using the shadow of the sun. The position of the sun is going to tell you the time, because it is going to tell you about the image which is being formed, the shadow which is being formed at the different positions, and according to the position you could also tell the time. According to the position of that shadow, according to the position of the sun, you could tell the time. Similarly, moon dials are there. Moon dials are going to use the moonlight and going to tell you about the shadow which is being formed, and you could easily tell the time which is present, which is there in that particular moment. Okay, so we'll discuss the first clock, that is this sand clock. And this, I told you that this sand clock is very much common, and you might have seen these sand clocks very frequently or very easily. So I think this is the diagram. If I'm not wrong, and if I could draw a good diagram. So if you have seen this type of clock, it has sand filled in it. Okay, and it has a hole here, and this sand is going to be filled. It is going to come and collect in the next chamber. So it has 2 chambers. Upper chamber has a complete sand filled in it, and the next chamber, the sand is going to fall down, and whatever sand is going to be collected here, it is going to tell you the time. So for 1 hour, it is going to be collected. All the sand is going to be collected here in the second chamber. So it means 1 hour is over. Next, what happens? You are going to, so suppose that this is first in the second chamber. So now what you will do? You will just invert this. You will invert this. You will invert this. Okay. So now second chamber is up, first one is down. So again, this sand which is being filled here, it will drip down, and it is going to be stored here in the next. It is getting collected in the first chamber. Again, it is inverted and it is kept. So it takes how many hours? It takes, for suppose that 1 hour, after every hour, it has to be rotated. Okay, it has to be put upside down. Now, if the sand clock is small, it is going to be rotated after every hour. Sometimes these sand clocks are larger enough. So it takes 2 or 3, 5 hours for that sand to fall down and gets collected in the second chamber, in the lower chamber. So the upper chamber has sand in it. Now upper chambers, that sand is going to fall down, and this is getting collected in the lower chamber, where you could which could be collected in the particular time. It say for 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. It is not necessary. So this sand clock is using sand collection or the collecting of sand. Okay. In the sand collection in particular hour. Say for example, it takes 1 hour to complete this, it takes 2 hours to completely fill this part in the second chamber. It means that particular time is taking place in the particular moment. Okay, so children, I have taught you about the first type of clock, and we have also discussed about the remaining part of that oscillatory motion time period. We have discussed frequency, we have discussed oscillation, we have discussed the different types of the words: frequency, amplitude, time period. Okay, and the next was it was one of the important part which has to be discussed, and I have also told you about this type of clock, different types of clocks here. So first clock which we discussed is this sand clock. So children, that was all about today's video. I will meet you all in the next video with the next topic to be discussed. So that is all.